Hi everyone, divine greetings. This is Tasha Matrez with Spirit Knows Best, and welcome to another episode of Becoming. Let me give a warm shout out to the rest of my syndicate members: Nicole Farrell with Kachina Yoga, Allura Mystique, Adira Leora, Catrice Wallace, Basta Luna, Sonia Shed, and last but most certainly not least, the creator of this show, M. Rain, your magical mystic. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am going to discuss the power of decision making. And while it may sound like a very mundane topic, it is the power behind our manifesting. Many of you that tune in to this show have some form of path that you follow, be it an independent path, a more solitary path, or a path within a particular system. At the end of the day, this is going to apply to anyone, regardless of their path, and truly within even into your mundane life. But today, for the purposes of today's show, I am going to speak about the power of decision making from the aspect of manifesting and why it is so powerful. Okay, let's talk about decision making. Okay, it sounds simple, but believe it or not, many people do have trouble with actually reaching decisions. And you'd be surprised to learn that a lot of these decisions don't have to do more so with, everyday decisions. But when it comes to manifesting, and when it comes down to us determining what it is that we desire and what it is that we seek to manifest, many people have trouble doing so. Why is that the case, though? Why do you think that so many people have trouble determining what it is that they truly desire? Well, because in our everyday lives, the way, we interact with our society, many of us are not encouraged to determine what we desire from the heart, more so than what we wanted to do with our lives, what we wanted out of our lives. And a lot of times, even the answer to those questions were based on something external, even if we were not consciously aware that it was based on something external. Let me give you an example. So, what do you want to be when you grow up? Okay, we all get asked that question in our youth, typically by a teacher of some sort. And when we're young, we tend to answer that question with a little bit more imagination and with a little bit more desire for what we actually like. Okay. But over time, as we begin to interact with society, as we grow and as we mature, we begin to make decisions that are surrounded by simple practicality. More practicality, less so about desire. So then you'll find yourself, let's say, by the time you've reached the 9th grade, and now it's time to talk about, the possibility of college or what we seek to do after school, after we graduate high school. Then you'll see sometimes that the answer that you would have given to your kindergarten teacher is going to be different than what you are going to give to your 9th grade guidance counselor, because now you have been programmed and you have been trained to begin thinking more practical and less imagination and less desire. Okay. So that's when you will see a change in what or you may see a change in what a person may, the motivation behind what they want to be, okay? Or behind what they may even think they want to be. Now, you are going to have some that from toddler to graduation, they just have a passion for, what it is that they seek, and they haven't changed or haven't altered it too far, from their original desire. But usually those people, those individuals have an environment where they have where their desires have been fostered and considered. Or on the other hand, sometimes you just have a straight up strong-willed individual who happens to know exactly what they want, regardless of anyone else's opinion. But for the most part, you will come in contact with people in everyday life who made more practical decisions when it came down to what they were going to do as far as a career was concerned. If they were going to get married and have children, you'll see that people will plan their families based on their age. They will plan their or determine their status in life based on what's approved in society. And a lot of times you have people making decisions that really don't come from the place of desire. Okay. And while that may allow us to function in society, when we begin to actively manifest and we begin putting manifestation into practice, those types of motivations don't necessarily work as well anymore. Okay, because we then are seeking something beyond the mundane. We are talking something outside of just practicality. Okay, so by the time a person has gotten on a specific path, beginning to discover, who they are and what it is they seek, they typically cannot answer the question when asked. Okay, so you take maybe the average 30-year-old, 35-year-old who is now beginning to be open to and charting out a path that is more spiritual or mindful. And then now they're faced with the question of, what is it that you truly desire? Well, a lot of people don't know. Okay. And so that is where you want to begin, though. When it comes to your personal manifesting and goal accomplishment, first determine what is yours. Okay. Do you want to accomplish this particular goal because you are convinced that other people think that it's a great goal accomplishment? Or do you actually want it? Okay. And those are not mutually exclusive. You can actually truly desire something that other people may think that you're great at, or other people may think that you should do. And that's perfectly fine. But what you want to do is honor what is truly within. And in order to honor what is within, you are going to have to determine what is yours. When you say you want something and you desire something, what is it within you that desires it? Are you sure that that desire belongs to you? Now, I personally like to use the word desire. Okay. When it comes to manifesting your needs and wants. Okay. That's, I encourage that as well. But when we seek to live a fulfilling life, it's about more than your basic needs and your wants. And the thing about wants versus desire, and why I like to use the word desire when it comes to manifesting versus want, because a lot of times what we actually want does come from external. It's a lot of external influence that determines what you think you want. That's why I like to use desire. Sometimes want is not necessarily organic or authentic. So a person may say, you know what, I want to get married. And if their motivation is they want to get married, have a big family because that is what their parents did. That is what a lot of their peers are doing. So then it's easy to draw the conclusion that you want that too. but you don't realize how that really is more external than internal if you really haven't allowed yourself to be present with your desire. Okay? So when we say, I want to get married, I want to have a big family, or I want to get married and have a family, I want to go to college, I want to do this. Do you want to because you think you should or you have to, based on something that you have been taught or told? Okay? Sit with yourself and determine what it is you want. Okay? That is the key to manifesting. Why is that so important? Because when it comes to manifesting and the signal that we send to the universe regarding what we seek to be delivered, we don't want to be confused on that. Okay? So ask yourself, do I truly desire this? Okay? And one of the key things to determining a successful manifestation is truly to determine your motivation behind the desire. This is how you determine whether your desire is from a healthy space. Okay? A lot of times when we hear about manifestation and manifesting, and we talk about desires, not many people, or you don't hear a lot to determine or gauge whether your manifestations are coming from a healthy place. And you may ask, okay, Tasha, then how do I know if my desires, all right, if my desires and my wants actually come from a healthy place? Well, one of the first things that I recommend is determining if fear is your motivation. Okay? Just sit with that for a moment. We are not always aware of when, or we're not always consciously aware of fear being our motivation. Okay? So allow yourself to get to the motivation behind your desire. Okay? If fear is a motivation behind your desire, then it's likely it is not coming from a healthy space. Okay? This is not about judgment. Okay? This is not about anyone telling you what you want or what you're thinking or what you're feeling. This is truly about you getting in touch with what you truly feel. Is my desire motivated by fear? Okay? So, for example, let's use marriage again. Do you want to get married because you are afraid of being alone? Then, if you want to get married because you are afraid of being alone, then that may not necessarily qualify as a desire. Okay? And you may very well manifest a partner or a spouse, but ultimately, depending on things that take place in your life, ultimately, you may get to a point where you feel like, and it could be 10 years later that you determine that you didn't consider your true desires. And by that time, we're already 10, 15 years in, with the family, and then the decision to honor ourselves becomes that much more difficult. Okay? So if you want something, or you feel that you need to do something, or you feel that you need or want something, determine if the motivation is fear. And that is going to assist you with gauging whether this is something that is coming from a healthy place. Okay? And it may not be just, and I'm not speaking against not getting married, but for some people, it may be, I have to get married right now because I have 5, of my peers from college, 5 of my friends from college have done that. Okay. What if I don't? Okay. And so a lot of times, again, our decision making and what we feel like we want comes from outside of us. So the key to your manifesting is truly being honest about what it is that you desire. Okay? That may not come overnight. If you have spent, and a lot of us grew up this way, and society kind of conditions us to feel this way. If you have spent all your life only making decisions from practicality and from based on other people's opinions, okay, it's going to take a moment to allow yourself to sit in your own space and breathe your own air and determine what it is you like, what it is you want, what it is you desire. You, okay? This is not something that has to be rushed. Do not feel guilty if this is you. Do not feel singled out if this is you, because this is many of us, okay? Even with me, I'm 44 years old, and I didn't truly feel comfortable beginning to truly operate in the fullness of who I am until I was about in my 30s. And even then, it's a process, okay? And this process can take a few years, all right? So don't rush it. Do not rush the process, but do give yourself time. Do give yourself space. Do give yourself room to breathe your own air, okay? Now, once you begin to become present with yourself, with your desires, and you begin to discover the real you deep down within. Now, the next thing is, once you have decided what you desire, okay, now comes the next step that is generally harder for some than actually getting familiar with themselves and determining what it is that they desire, okay? The next step is not making apologies for it. Once you begin to wake up to yourself, okay? Remember, the name of this show is Becoming. Once you begin to remember yourself and begin the process, or start the process of becoming you, okay? Now this may begin to make some people in your life a little bit uncomfortable, because and this could be anyone, this could be friendships, this could be partnerships, this could be children, parents, co-workers, okay, supervisors at your job. Once you begin to answer the call of yourself, there are going to be transformational moments that not only you are witnessing, but other people are witnessing as well. And not everybody is going to know how to deal with that. And so you now have to become firm in your desires, okay? And for those of you who have people that you love and that you consider in your life, that is absolutely fine, okay? We all do. This is not about being in rebellion against the people that are in our lives. This is not about being at odds against the people in our lives. This simply is about beginning to reconcile within who you are, and as a result of discovering who you are, what is it that you seek in life to be absolutely fulfilled, okay? The things that you seek to manifest, whether they be tangible or non-tangible things, you want to begin to stand firm in what you desire, okay? Why is that important? Because as you begin to work towards manifesting, now, again, many of us have various paths, and the process of manifesting and what we do in our manifesting and how we manifest is going to vary, depending on your path, depending on an individual, okay? But at the end of the day, it all comes down to communication with the cosmos, communication with the universe. And you can call it whatever, is comfortable with you and whatever resonates with you. But at the end of the day, it comes down to sending a signal. And you want to send the signal of certainty. You don't want to send a signal of, I'm apologizing for my desires. What does it mean by apologizing? Apologizing does not necessarily mean that you are walking around literally apologizing. Okay. What it means though is in determining what it is you desire, you're considering things external to you that many times have absolutely nothing to do with what you desire. You're considering other people's opinions. You are considering other people's thoughts and beliefs and convictions. You are considering other people's judgments. You are wavering back and forth regarding whether you have the right or even deserve to go after what you seek. This is operating in an apologetic vibration, okay? And when it comes down to manifesting, whether you are using a vision board, a manifesting journal, whatever you're doing, spiritually or just individually, to bring about the change that you want to see in your life, you want to be able to stand firm in it. You don't want to send the signal of, do I deserve this? Yes. And you know who gets to determine whether you deserve what you seek? You and only you. Yes, we have been taught that being about yourself is a selfish thing. But it is not. When you are typically living a life that revolves around anyone and anything other than you, you then build up resentment towards the things and towards the people in your life that don't necessarily even deserve to receive that resentment. And had you honored yourself in your desires, there would not be a breeding ground for resentment against people and society. And generally, a lot of times it's resentment against people in our lives that we have sacrificed for because we did not honor ourselves. Okay. So the power of your manifesting is going to be in your decision making. You want to be so firm in your decision making that the moment you say, I have decided, it is the same as it is done. And it's just a matter of it coming to fruition. All right. So yes, decision making. That sounds simple when it comes down to it being a priority and a key power player in manifesting. But again, you'd be so surprised to determine or to find that it is difficult for many to determine, one, what it is they genuinely desire. And once they determine what it is, how do I walk in the authority of this? How do I now ensure that other people are in agreement? You'd be surprised at how many people are looking for external validation and agreement when it comes to the things that they desire for their personal lives. Okay? Let's talk agreement and the power of that, because that plays a role in decision making as well. Okay. By the time you say, I have decided, and when you say that with firm energy and with determination, the only agreement that is truly needed at that very moment is you and the universe. Okay. Once you and the universe agree on that with no wavering, with no faltering, then doors will begin to open. Contacts will walk into your life that can assist you in helping you reach your goals and your manifestations. But we must first say to the universe, I have decided. And we have to say it with certainty. So once you determine what it is you seek, it is now time to stand firm in your desires. Okay? So again, I hope that this brief video has given you a little bit of insight into the power behind decision making. Now, there are many layers to decision making, and there are many layers to ensuring that your decision making or your desires are coming from a healthy place. But I did want to give you all an overview to provide you with reasons why there is power in decision making. Again, let your "I have decided" be your "it is done." Thank you so much for joining me on Becoming. Again, thank you to the creator of Becoming and the creator of the syndicate, M. Rain, the Magical Mystic. Thank you so much for joining me, and you guys have an absolutely wonderful day.